Hi guys, and welcome to Paws Gaming. This is Phoenix, and today we are going to be recording episode 6 of our breeding masterclass. So what we're going to be doing in this episode is we're going to be putting together our breeding tower that we're going to use for our mutation breeding. And the reason that you want a tower is so that you can position multiple females around your male. Their breeding range is in the form of a bubble, so if you put females below and above and all around, then you can maximize because you're wanting to get a goal number of somewhere between 20 and 30 females to one male. That's going to almost give you an almost 100% chance of getting the mutation that you're after every time you do a round of breeding, so that you're minimizing your overall cost because every round is going to cost element. So in order to build a tower for these guys, because the dinos that we're using, as y'all are well aware, are very small, so we don't need a whole lot of space to do this. We're going to use these railings that we can turn to half walls if we want. We'll probably just leave them as railings, but it gets us up half the height of a regular wall, and for these guys that's plenty tall enough. Obviously, for other dinos that would be nowhere near tall enough, so you just kind of have to look at what space your dino needs. And I did some testing off camera, and I believe that if we stay in this 2 foundation square range with the middle spot right here between the intersections of all the foundations being where our male is, I'm pretty sure that he will reach all of the females on top and bottom. So that's what we're going to try with, and we're just going to get this tower built up real quick. Well, if you can get them to snap right, but what else is new with Ark building, right? Alright, if we don't get it this time, we're just going to go with whatever it gives us. Okay, those are just going to be set lower. Alright, so that's our tower, and I didn't build it ahead of time, so we're just going to have to kind of build it real quick and add it in. There we go. Getting into that level is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but it'll be alright, we'll make it work. What we will probably do, honestly, is climb up here and take these ceiling tiles down while we throw the middle layer in there, but I just wanted you to see kind of what the tower's going to look like and the putting it together, and we'll dismantle what we have to in order to get the dinos in there. So off camera, I bred up all of our breeders. We've got one male and a whole bunch of females, and they are all level 588. They all have the exact same stats, and the reason why this is important is it'll make it super easy to see when there's been a mutation, and it will ensure, at least early on, that the mutation is actually increasing the line. So that's what we're going to do. Now, here's what's important, and I know that we talked about it before, but it is important enough that it bears repeating. When you're breeding dinos, you don't care about percentages or overall values when you actually look at the dino. like there where it says melee is 1140.7%, don't care. The numbers you care about are the numbers in brackets. We'll take melee again for example. This one says bracket 87-0 close bracket. The 87 is the number we are watching. That is the number we want to increase. That is the number we care about. The -0, that number will only change if you apply levels to the dino. So you're out running your dino around, it says, hey, this dino has a level up, and you put that point somewhere. Wherever you put it, that 0 will jump up by a single point, showing that you applied a point in that stat. For base stats, when somebody says, what's your dino's base? They're asking, what was it born with? So this dino was born with 87 points in melee. That's the number that matters. That's the number we care about. So if somebody's asking you about all these other numbers, those don't matter. Not until you get finished with the line, at least. So for right now, those are the ones we're talking about when we say stats. When we say point increases or any of that, these are the numbers we're talking about for the purpose of this series, and the only numbers you should be talking about when you're talking about breeding, or you're posting stats for dinos for sale, or you're asking for stats for dinos to buy. So, now that we've done all that again, what we've got to do is we've got to make all of these dinos fit into this. So we want the bottom level here to be all girls, as many as we can fit in there, just over 1/3. And we want the top level up here to be all girls, again just over 1/3. And then the middle level there, we want the male to be in there, and we want there to be some females in there, but we don't want there to be so many females in there that we can't get to the male in order to swap him out. Okay, that's the other important part. You want to make sure that you leave direct line of access to your male, because you're going to be podding him up and throwing him back out every time that you get a new breeder, but we'll get into more of that as we go. So this is part 1 of setting up, is you need to know what your tower is going to look like, have all the parts and pieces crafted in order to be able to build your tower. Especially if you're working with larger dinos, what you want to do is get all of the bottom layer ones thrown out, and then put your middle layer floor down, get all those thrown out, and then put your top level floor down and get all those thrown out. That's going to be your best bet, because sometimes you can snap a level in after the dinos are out at a slightly lower point than you can throw them out with it set to. So, like drakes, for example, I can set walls for a drake at 3 or 4 walls high, but I can't throw a drake out in a room that's set with that wall height. So it's always best to do it that way. Again, we just, for the purpose of this video, we just wanted you to see kind of what it's going to look like. So this is that. The rest of setting up this space to get ready for mutation breeding. And we don't actually need 18 of these, but that's what's in there, so that's what we're grabbing. We've got 2. We're actually going to pick both of these up. And because our dinos are going to be here in this box, we're going to line up 5 of them. Now, these ones are used only for mutation pulses. Okay, this is how we're going to expedite the mutation process. For the Limitless gaming cluster, you can stack mutation pulses up to 5. So here's our 5. It's good to go. Other things that you're going to want to have available to you, but you're going to want to have them far enough away from this that the pulses from the other mutators won't reach this area where your breeding set is. So for us, we're going to actually turn on this middle one's range, just so we can see how far below it goes, because they have kind of a crazy range on them. You can see it through the window there. I'm afraid that it's gonna encompass the whole, yeah, see. It gets all the floors. So, see, it's kind of a crazy size range bubble there. So that means that we're gonna have to actually set these up out here. So we'll set them up actually off to this side over here. And I'm going to put 2 here. One of those is going to be for gender swapping, and one of those is going to be for growth pulses. So you got gender swap, growth pulse, and if you want, you can put an extra one down. That way, if you are having to do it quickly and you have a cooldown timer, then you have a backup that you can swap around to whatever you need it to be. For these dinos in particular, because they will already, let's get this guy back upstairs, they will already breed on their own. They're not one of the dinos that don't breed, so for them that's really all you have to have. We will do a bonus video added on to the end of this series about what changes or extra things that you need to have for if you're breeding dinos that can't normally breed. But that's for another episode, not for this one. So, as far as setting up your space, that's it, guys, because we've already got all this other stuff over here. This is the basic breeding stuff. So we've added the breeding tower in, we've added the mutators in, and now we just need to add the dinos. So I'm going to do that off screen. I'll bring you back at the very end once it's all set up so that you can see the dinos all in it, everything ready to go. And then we will do our first round of mutation breeding in episode 7. I'll be right back. Alright, and we're back. And so, actually, as it turns out, we didn't need a 2x2 square. We ended up kind of pulling it down a little bit, and we made it a 1x2 square. And we have, let me get rid of all this. We have females along the bottom here. We have females along the top there. And then we have a row of females in the front there with the male here at the back so that he's easy to get to. And if you look, they all have the little, I know it's hard to tell with all those overlapping names there, but they all have the little hearts above their heads. Again, I did run some tests on doing 2 foundations across earlier, so they should all be in range and we should be good to go. But they're all set up, they're ready to go. So in the next episode, we will do our first round of mutation breeding, and we will talk about how to get the stats going the way that you want, guys. We're almost there. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon so that you can get notified when we upload the next video in this series or the next of our tutorial videos in one of our other series or just our random one-offs. And be sure to like the video as it helps us with our YouTube ratings. Thanks, guys. See you next time.